Hey, I'm gonna make this video while I'm driving, so hopefully the video is somewhat entertaining. I want to talk about the upcoming Jupiter transit. So, since fall of last year, Jupiter has been in Libra. I've done a video on this if you wanted to check that out. Basically, the last year has really been about expanding our relationships to ourselves, to others, whether that be romantic, friendship, business, just kind of networking and making connections, and really gaining a lot of wealth and prosperity through our interpersonal relationships. Now, it's going to be going into Scorpio on October 13th, which is a Friday the 13th, which I think is pretty fitting. Scorpio being kind of known for darkness and occult, mystery, magic, esoteric wisdom, that sort of a thing. So it really is going to set a tone for the next year. Jupiter will be in Scorpio until November of the following year. So some main points that I'm really going to take from this are that our deepest desires, that is the message that's coming through really clearly, are going to be called upon. We are going to fully realize and step into our power of what we want in this lifetime, what makes us feel emotionally satisfied, what gives us drive and passion. These are the things that we're being called to manifest into our reality in a really expanded, aware sense. It might not come to its full completion in the next year, but it will certainly make itself extremely evident. And these could be things that give you a certain amount of emotional satisfaction, security, or stability, because Scorpio is very much about feeling in control. So this might be creating your own business, traveling somewhere that you've always wanted to go, taking a new step in your relationship, adopting an animal, making a large purchase, moving to a new house, transforming your career. In some way, your life will be greatly transformed, and it will be done in a way that you've wanted for a long time. Jupiter goes through each sign once every 12 years or so. So if you think back 12 years ago into what did you want from this lifetime, what created happiness for you, these are going to be on the forefront. You're going to be reminded of what you came here for, and it's going to be extremely obvious, if not overwhelming, what kind of course of action that you need to take. Scorpio, while being mysterious and a bit adversive sometimes, is also pretty upfront. It can hide from you, but it can also completely juxtapose itself over your everyday reality. It's a very intense sign. So while it gives a lot of opportunity for this personal growth and moving forward in your career and all of this, the flip side of the coin, and perhaps on a more global scale, things are going to be pretty intense. This is calling for the depths of your soul to be pulled out and shown into the light. And on a personal level, we can handle this, and on a global level, it can be very chaotic, though this is the healing that we need. I think it's pretty evident the way that there are a lot of earth changes and catastrophic events, politics, government changing. People are turning away from the media. They're turning away from these ruling powers that clearly don't have our self-interests at hand, and we are turning to our own power. I'm speaking from America, so I definitely have that vibration going through my heart while I speak these words, in the sense that this country was, yes, built on others, using others, and in a way, America was never great. What we stand for in a lot of ways is the destruction of culture, gentrification, slavery, murder, capitalism. These are things that really hurt, and I don't have a lot of pride most of the time, except when I know that I, as a transgender individual, am free to be myself, which isn't something that I speak about too much on this channel for fear of comments. I just don't want to be pulled into that negative space. But in defense of this country, I can say that there are a lot of ways to express yourself that are legal and that don't always have repercussions. Yes, there's a lot of racism, there's a lot of ignorance, people are being killed all the time just for being who they are, but this isn't just this country and the world. There is a lot of darkness, and I'm admitting to all of these things. It's an admission because I really want to preach hope and happiness and trust in the human soul and the divine will that is unfolding, but I'm not blind to these things, and I have not been ignorant or have not experienced them myself, and I have suffered, perhaps not to the degree as others have, but I definitely understand that resonance. So all of these themes are really unavoidable, and for the next year we're really going to be having to deal with them. But in doing so, the main point that I was trying to make before I kind of tangented off here is that this country is a democracy, which means that the power is meant to be coming from the people. And I think perhaps from the beginning it never really was such, but that concept is something that a lot of people that are Americans really value. And I believe that it is true. I believe that the power should be within us. And I think that Jupiter and Scorpio is calling us to recognize the power within each of us as individuals, as a collective, as a global consciousness that we can cultivate in order to transform the world and create this new plane of being that is coming forth. Whether there is resistance or not, there's really no stopping it. So I would suggest kind of, riding the wave here. Yeah, it's pretty extreme, but like I said, it's a really big moment of transformation. And then after this, Jupiter is going to be moving into Sagittarius, which is its home sign of luck and abundance and prosperity, opportunity, philosophy. So I think if we can get through these pretty powerful times, there is definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. Scorpio is very much about diving into the underworld, not so much to become a part of it, but to be changed by it forever, to have seen the disconnectedness, to see maybe the Luciferian aspect of this world where we separated ourselves from God, from the oneness, from love, and we try to do it on our own, and we look around and we see where we are. But this is very valuable, and it cannot be regretted, because knowing this now, we will hopefully not make the mistake again, or at the very least, it is in our right as free will beings to choose the path that we wish to go on, to continue with this fragmented reality, or to push forward as pioneers and light workers and leaders for the new age that is coming of oneness and love and unity. The economy is changing, the workforce is changing, money and how it's being used is changing. People's attention and focus and concentration is changing. It's becoming more on the community. People are looking more towards, how can I support myself? How can I support the people that I know? And how can we all work together? Rather than, how is the government going to help me? Or how is God even going to help me? In a very archaic sense, the word God itself is changing. Even modern day Catholics and Christians are constantly rewriting the way that they translate their scripture in order to fit in with a changing world. It is something that we are always trying to grasp and obtain, and regardless of your religion or your culture, we're all hitting and tapping into something very similar that is within each and every single one of us, and however you get there is beautiful. And diversity is beautiful. We fell. The human consciousness fell, and maybe we are a bit broken, but that has given us diversity. If everything had been the same and we never delved here, we would have missed out on so much. You know, the universe and consciousness, there is no right or wrong, there is no good or evil, there is only the infinite. And right now we are all experiencing this level and this reality, but that does not mean that that's all that there is, and that does not mean that this is static. It is dynamic, and it is currently unfolding at an incredibly rapid pace with the advent of technology and with the return to spirit and the return to love. These are the messages that are coming through. Jupiter is an extremely powerful planet. It is a very positive and optimistic and hopeful planet. And in Scorpio, it creates a really interesting dynamic and juxtaposition because, in a sense, they're a bit opposite. Jupiter being infinite expansion and Scorpio being the deepest depths. So it's really going to kind of blow open the floodgates and anything that might have been hidden will be revealed to you. It will be much easier to contact your spirit guides, to contact psychic intuition, galactic quests, missions, messages, past lives. All of these things would be more readily available to you. I'm picking up that especially on Halloween, right after this shift, the gates will be blown open. I do give a gentle caution to be careful with your energy, to be careful with which vibrations you let through your consciousness. Channeling is an extremely powerful tool, though if you aren't protected or you aren't going into it with the correct intentions and guards set up, then you could be controlled in a sense. Scorpio, in a twisted sense, is very much whatever you'd like to call the Illuminati, or what is mostly the people that have the most power right now in terms of money and influence. They are using their control simply to gain more of it instead of giving back to this planet. And that is really what we are meant to do here as Earthlings, is to coordinate with this planet. The animals, they understand. If for whatever reason you need more clarity or guidance, simply turn to the animals. They have been weathering this storm with us without judgment, to the best of their ability, with the utmost patience. Especially farm animals, if you can tune into them at all, have the most patience and wisdom of any creatures that I have ever found, who, regardless of all of the abuse and destruction and torture, remain true to their hearts and continue living their lives to the best that they can. And it almost brings tears to my eyes. This is an incredibly important transit, especially if this is in your birth chart. It affects many different generations, as it does happen every 12 years or so. So people who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, please be aware and check your birth chart. There are a lot of free calculators online. If this does happen to be your Jupiter return, then this will all have double significance for you, and your deepest desires, dreams, goals, passions, they will be thrust before your life. The choices will be there. The people that you need to meet will meet you. The ideas that you need to have moving forward, they will come to you. This is not a time to worry. This is not a time to be in fear. This is a time to step into your own power, to trust your intuition, to trust your guidance, and to trust your soul, because it will always lead you in the right direction. It is a compass that never wavers. As long as you're reading it correctly, it will guide you where you need to go. I could speak much more to this topic, but it's already been about 15 minutes. If anyone else would like further clarity on this transit or this return, feel free to message me in the comments. If you are feeling called in any reason to hire me to do your birth chart or to talk more about your Jupiter return, please email me at oceankemble, that's ocean like the ocean, Kemble, Kemble @gmail.com. And I am here for advice, to talk, and to interpret anything astrologically that you might need. So good luck to everyone out there forging their paths. You should be really proud of yourself and everything that you accomplished. Life is not easy right now. It certainly is not. And I'm not religious by any means, but there's a quote that really seems to resonate with this situation, and that is that God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And I know that we're here to fight, whether that be through prayer or with our fists. Whatever you're contributing, it's valid, and you wouldn't be here unless you were needed here. And we're all volunteer souls. The bravery will be recognized. You are blessed and you are loved. Peace.